to the beach to the parks. I asked him yesterday, I was
My test want to, okay, it looks like it's pick. The owl picks up the noise, right?
Yeah, and we use it like a mic, so anyone who has anything to say, because we tell them
Uh-huh.
tell them to go to the owl because then people can't hear them.
Right. Okay. Sounds good.
We should do that. Oh, that's the thing too. Do you want me to hit record or you got on your end? Okay.
Municipal Advisory Council. Want to call the meeting to order at 5:05. Let me see here. See if that's my first time. Let's take a look at the agenda. And do we want to approve the agenda first? That's right.
Yeah, we want to do a roll call and introductions. We do have two new council members today, so we do want to give them the floor just to introduce themselves.
Sounds good. Okay, so we're going to, the first item on the agenda is roll call and introductions. So, Ms. Cynthia, are you there?
I don't see Cynthia, but I'm happy to do the roll call.
Okay, I just wanted
I
to
can
make
do
sure get the names. Okay.
Okay. Donald Gilmore, chair, is absent. Annie King Meredith, also absent. Latifa Abdullah,
Here.
Andrea Bailey. Did she say here?
Yeah, she's here.
Okay. Princess Robinson. Yeah. And Jada Blakely.
It's Jada Blakely, but I'm here.
I'm sorry.
Jaya's here. Beatrice.
Jada. Okay. Okay. Beatrice Dominguez.
All right.
Amazing. And mhm.
Everybody.
Oh, go for it. Can you give the go to introductions?
Sure. Okay. Ms. Jaya, would you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Jill. I'm a Richmond native. I have a background in business. I have a bachelor's in business, a master's in accounting. And I'm just here to serve the board and put my input in. So I'm excited to join. Thank you.
Welcome. Ms. Bailey.
Hi, I'm Bailey. I previously done that work for a long time. We located to another facility in Monterey County, so I had Monterey Fresno County, and I'm back. They located back to the area in March of last year, so I'm back. How do you back in that board? My mom was before, and I have a lot of relatives in Michigan. So it's part of my history and it's part of my story. I'm really glad to be back.
Thank you. Thank you. I know you introduced yourself last time. Would you like to just say hey?
Hello, everybody. My name is Beatrice. I am here. My background is in business marketing, hospitality, and planning. Currently, I work at the Richmond MAC in downtown Richmond, the Virginia Chamber of Commerce. So I'm all about development, improving our community, and everything I can to help and to brighten our neighborhood.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay. So the next item on the agenda is public comment. You can have a public comment for no more than 2 minutes. Is there any public comment here or online?
I don't see any raised hands online, but if you do have public comment, please raise your hand or unmute yourself if you're on Zoom.
We have one here.
My public comments are public comments for the past 3+ years I've been coming here. One is my address for the sheriff's department in regards to the street sweeping, and also in regards to the 18-wheeler diesel truck that's constantly coming through North Richmond.
Right here,
Sorry.
Speaking to like the white speaker.
This is the speaking.
Yeah, my addressment is towards the sheriff's department. For the past 3 years, I've been coming to the meetings, and I've been addressing my concerns as far as other community members' concerns as far as street sweeping, and as far as the 18-wheelers that keep coming through, taking the shortcuts through North Richmond to go to businesses on Rumrail. They come down Fred Jackson Way, come up Market Street, just to go to the business across the tracks. I've even talked to some of the truck drivers, and they said they know they're not supposed to come through here, but they come through here because it's a shortcut. I've almost been hit several times by a diesel truck, and it was an incident early this year where a diesel truck was blocking traffic over there on Fifth and Chesley for over 3.5 hours because for whatever reason it broke down. So my concern is, why are they still allowed to come through here? And two, in regards to the street sweeping, Sheriff's Department mentioned that the last meeting I was in was either in March or April. They was gonna start putting out warning tickets. And the reason why they don't give tickets, because of course, we don't want people to get tickets unnecessarily. But again, we've been having street sweeping out here for over 5 years now, and people still are not moving their cars. And other residents, including myself, when the street sweepers come out here, they just drive down the middle of the streets. And what's the point of having street sweeping and we paying for street sweeping and they're not being able to sweep the streets? Because for years, we advocated for street sweeping. Now that we got it, it's still not being utilized. And the sheriff's department keeps telling me that they don't have the adequate manpower to police the streets. But I mean, over 3 years, I mean, something needs to be done. I mean, in my opinion, this is the only area where it happens. You go right across the tracks to Richmond. It doesn't happen in Richmond, doesn't happen in San Pablo, so it's only happening in North Richmond. And as far as the diesel trucks, like I said, they know they're not supposed to come through here. And the last time I brought it up with the sheriff's department, they said they have to talk to Highway Patrol. I spoke to a Highway Patrol officer. He referred me back to the sheriff's department. So I'm like, whose job is it to tell the diesel trucks they're not supposed to come through here? Because me and some of the other residents are getting to a point where things could escalate. And what I mean by escalate, me and some other community members can get out here on the streets. And anytime we see a diesel truck, we will make a human roadblock, and that would just make things worse. Because it seems like things doesn't happen until things escalate. And I'm all about preventive versus doing things afterwards. So those are my main two concerns.
Another public comment.
We have another public comment.
I don't see. Oh, Marta Nieto has her hand raised, and I'm gonna translate for her.
Sí, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Marta Nieto. Yo soy el trabajador comunitario de la Escuela Verde y quiero comunicar que nosotros, padres de la Verde, líderes de la Verde, agarramos un grant de $20,000 y estamos haciendo unos programas específicamente para latinos. Y es hacer 3 talleres de housing, 3 talleres de inmigración, 3 talleres de cómo sacar su licencia para vender comida y una clase de GD. Ahorita tenemos 22 padres y voy a estar mandando los flyers, no sé si a este grupo, para que ustedes lo puedan compartir.
Okay, perfecto. She said, hello, my name is Marta Nieto. I'm a community worker at Verde School. And this year we received a grant for $20,000 to do a leadership program targeted to the Latino population in North Richmond. So we're going to be hosting 3 housing workshops, 3 immigration workshops, and 3 other workshops around mental health, and 1 around how to get your environmental health permits, and and also your GED is going to be part of the program as well. And there's currently 22 participants in the program, and she's going to be sharing the flyers out. And so she'll be in communication with this group as the program kind of continues to progress. And okay, so now I see another public comment, Berta.
Oh, hi. Yes, my name is Berta. Tanya, would you mind if you translate for me, please?
Yes, of course.
Okay, thank you. Soy vecina de aquí de norte de Richmond y estoy asistiendo a la reunión porque quiero comentar que las propiedades que vendieron de las deltas, pero las scattered sites, las propiedades que son el 1560 y 1572, no sé a quién se las vendieron, pero han estado desatendidas y ya es un problema para la calle donde vivimos porque siempre tienen basura y están cubiertas de graffiti. Se ve horrible. No sabemos a quién dirigirnos para resolver este problema, pero queremos que pare. Gracias.
So Berta lives in the community of North Richmond. She's a resident leader, and she wants to report on the scattered sites that were recently purchased by people in the private market. You know, they were sold by the housing authority to people at market rate. And she said that there's 2 properties along her street that have become very neglected and abandoned, and they have graffiti and they have garbage, and they're really becoming problematic. And so she wants to report that and get support from the community and people in the room to address the situation before it continues to worsen. Y Berta, yo te puedo llamar porque ya como pasaron de dueños, ya no es el Housing Authority, ya son dueños privados. Es otro proceso, pero sí hay un proceso para eso. And what I told Berta is that now that the properties have moved from Housing Authority ownership, right now it's privately owned. But there is a process for that, so I will follow up with her and go through the correct process of reporting. Which is basically code enforcement. This is when it's a private property, so when there's something to address inside someone's property, it will probably be code enforcement depending on the situation. It might be environmental health, but those are the agencies that you report to, and there is a process online, and then I'm also happy to assist with that as well.
Thank you.
Of course. And I don't see any more raised hands online.
We can proceed. I wanted to, as you know, you all voted on, the North Richmond residents voted on projects that they wanted to see move forward. One of the projects that got one of the highest votes was in the top 3, submitted by one of our elders. And the project is to repaint houses that are affected by refinery soot. And so Urban Tilth, I work at Urban Tilth, and we were one of the organizations that were part of that series, just bringing the community together. So we are going to be, some of the projects, they have big organizations behind them that have been working on their projects for years. But in the case of this particular resident, we're going to be doing the footwork. So if you voted for this project or if you are a resident leader, we're planning a meeting for July 15th. So I think it's the 15th at 6 o'clock. And we're going to confirm the location. Again, I believe that's a Wednesday, 6 o'clock, and it'll be here in North Richmond. You can reach out to me. And also if you have, so you can just kind of give your input on what that application process should look like. If you have local contracts that have experience with lead, we'd like to hear from you because we're going to be getting quotes or estimates. So I think that's what I like to say right now. And if that's, I think we want to go ahead and, oh, the street sweeping. Yeah, you know, I emailed about that when I first moved here. And we've been bringing that up, and I understand that Erman, is it I don't know if he's a deputy, but I know that he has a plan, and I actually have an email sent to go out to him so he can maybe just come and say what streets have been looked at, because I know they've been towing cars and things like that, so, and I think we still need an answer on the similar trucks.
Deputy Iron has been promoted, he's not. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. I hope we don't have to start. Okay, I hope we don't have to start from the beginning. Okay, so I think what we need to do now is we want to review and approve the agenda. And it should be, it says review and approve agenda from June 2nd. Sorry, maybe are we looking at the minutes?
Yeah, exactly. Approving the agenda that we have in front of us, and then approving the meeting notes from June.
Okay. All right, do we have a motion to approve the agenda? First of all, the agenda.
I motion to approve the agenda for tonight and last month's meeting.
Do we have a second? Thank you.
Do we want to go forward with approving the meeting notes from June? Or did you do both of them together?
They were together, Tanya.
Okay, great. Do we do, okay, so I'll do a roll call for that, the second, the motion in the second.
Yeah, just second the motion. So what we've done, we said, we had a motion to review and approve the minutes. And we had the motion by Princess, and we had a second by Beatrice.
Okay.
Are we good?
Yeah, so we'll do an, I'll do a roll call. Latifa Dula.
Yeah.
Council. Yeah, you approve, okay. Councilmember Jada.
Jan, here.
Yeah, okay, sorry. Apologies. Councilmember Robinson. And Councilmember Bailey. Sorry, I can't really hear. Okay. And then Councilmember Beatrice Dominguez.
Approve.
Approve, okay. So it's 3. So it looks like the motion moves forward. It's approved. Okay, so now we can move on to our next item on the agenda, which is law enforcement.
This is my first MAC meeting, actually. My lieutenant, I know usually does these. He went to Martin Creek, which is our other jail. So right now we're in the process area of having a new base station commander. I'm one of the resident deputies. I know it's my first time meeting you guys. I usually work nights. I know that most of you work with Ironman because he's day shift or senior. But before I leave here after we're done, I want to make sure everyone has my contact information, because even though Ironman's gone, I'm still here, even though my schedule is kind of all over the place. And just making sure if you guys need anything that I can do or answer to, you guys can come to me first. because I enjoy the challenges, like we already talked about. A few things, like you already addressed, I'll speak to you later if you don't mind. About the towing, and I know there's a lot of homeless on the tracks, a lot of stolen vehicles. I plan on bringing out a print of like having actual stats. I haven't had a chance to go to today, it's been one of those days. But one of my plans is to gather an intelligence sheet of how much vehicles that are either abandoned or stolen, which have increased lately. To see what we can do to work towards maybe getting, cameras in North Richmond, just long shotting it. Because I really feel like we can have this facts and statistics to prove it. But yeah, lately, the only thing I wanted to add was lately, there's been an uptick in abandoned stolen vehicles, whether they're burned, stripped, on the tracks and pockets like off of, there's one on Garavita, they're all over the place. I almost look forward to it every Monday. I work Monday through Thursday. Monday, there's at least like 5 that are abandoned or stripped. And I feel like we're kind of spinning our wheels in place. We'll swap it and do the whole 9 yards, but I really feel like the next step would be possibly if we're able to, maybe the camera, we can actually start identifying these people that are stealing the cars from outside of Richmond and dumping them here north. Because since I've been a Paul unit, I feel like it's been a common reoccurrence, and I don't want to put a Band-Aid over it, I want an actual permanent solution. So that's all I'll say. If you guys have any questions, I will definitely try my best to answer them to what I know, the best of my ability. So, and like I said, before I leave, I'll make sure everyone has my contact. So, there.
What was your name?
Just call me, everyone usually calls me Bill.
Dale, not you, Officer Dale, Deputy Dale, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Good evening. How's everybody doing? Yeah. My name's Lieutenant Ernest Lucas. I'm with the Richmond Police Department. I am the Central District Commander, so I handle North Richmond up to the sheriff's jurisdiction and beyond. I have some stats that I'm gonna go over and then some other things that I'd like to discuss, and then I'll take some questions if you have any. So from the last time I was here, which wasn't in person, I was online, and I was chastised about doing that by, oh, she's not here. I saw her at Juneteenth, I'm sorry. It was. She chastised me at Juneteenth and said, you need to start coming in person or sending an officer. And I promised her, moving forward, that I will be here in person or have an officer here in person for you all, because she's right. You should be here in person. So with that being said, the last time that we were here, comparison as far as neighbor stats for North MAC, Neighbor Council, the Richmond Police Department responded to 336 calls for service. Out of those 336 calls for service, there were 24 incident reports made, and then we also made 5 arrests. As far as our top 10 calls for service, I'm gonna talk about the first one last because that's the one that's most important. We made 23 traffic stops and issued 14 citations. These 2 numbers are a little conflated because they include leading up to the 4th and a couple days after, but we responded to 14 shots fired or shot spotter activations and 13 fireworks calls. Sometimes our shot spotter device can pick up fireworks and register them as gunshots, so we're still filtering through that. It takes about a week for us to figure out how many of those were actually shots fired and how many were actually fireworks. For those of us who worked, including me, on the 4th of July, there were a lot of fireworks, so we're still trying to figure that out. We conducted 13 security checks on businesses in the area. We responded to and removed 10 abandoned vehicles off the roadway, 10 disturbance calls, and that varies between loud music, barking dogs, or loud arguments or fights that people were calling in about. 9 audible alarms, 7 vandalisms, which I'll talk about, which relates to the first number 1 call for service, and then there were 6 petty thefts. So our number 1 call for service was foot patrol.
Since Shields Reed has reopened, well, it's been a soft reopening of the Shields Reed Park. The Richmond Police Department has been conducting routine daily foot patrols through the park. To hopefully deter any vandalism or graffiti or anything those types of things from taking place now that the park's beautifully, been renovated. However, we have received some reports of vandalism. That's those 7 vandalism calls. And I know the fence has been vandalized and repaired a number of times, I think 3 up to this point. So we're gonna increase, most likely, the extra foot patrols through the park up until, well, we're gonna continue it, but up until this Saturday. So this Saturday is the Blues Festival that's gonna be taking place. We're all aware of that, right? Right? Everybody knows that. The Blues Festival is taking place this Saturday, so we're gonna increase our routine patrols through the park to ensure that when it's ready for the festival, that it looks pristine. Also, with the 4th of July, we did have a 4th of July fireworks suppression operation where we had 12 officers working 2-man cars coming on overtime throughout the city to specifically respond to fireworks calls or on-view fireworks. If we observed anyone deliberately setting fireworks off, they were issued citations, which go to our community prosecutor for the levy fines and et cetera. We confiscated, I forgot honestly the amount because it's by weight. But it's on our social media. Take a look at our Facebook. You'll see all the fireworks that we confiscated and fires we put out. But also with the 4th of July, it was extremely, we were a little overwhelmed, to be quite frank, because we are short staffed. We didn't have the number of personnel we would have liked working that evening. Because along with the fireworks, we responded to a party where there were over 500 individuals at this party, which subsequently became a sideshow. There were a number of fights, and we wind up towing a number of vehicles and also recovering a number of firearms from just that location. And that took a lot of our resources away from responding to the fireworks while they were ongoing earlier in the evening. So that's kind of how that all worked out. The deputy mentioned cameras. The flock camera system is still kind of a hot bed for our city council. I will tell you from having experience and having the system in place, it is extremely beneficial for law enforcement when conducting follow-up investigations for stolen vehicles, carjacked vehicles, even when shootings, robberies, and other things take place. If they're using a vehicle, that system captures those license plates and gives us basically a GPS tracking system on where that vehicle is going. Most recently, it was used to solve the murder that happened at the St. John's Apartments a few months back. The individual used a vehicle to get away. The vehicle was tracked to Oakland and then tracked to Concord, where he was subsequently taken into custody. I will be 100% honest, without that flock system in place, we'd probably still be looking for that gentleman. Because we'd have to do it the whole way. We'd have to go out, pound the pavement, talk to people, people would have to talk to us, and we'd have to rely on getting tips from the public in order to track that person down. But we actually were able to get that person into custody within a matter of hours after the incident took place. So if anyone asks how you feel about it, just know that it's a beneficial tool. If we didn't have it, or if it's taken away, it would definitely kind of put it back into the Stone Ages on doing things very old and rudimentary. Also, this month is our shift change. One of the reasons why I didn't bring an officer with me today is because most likely it's going to be a different officer by next week. So on July 12th, we have a shift change where officers have the opportunity to select different beats, different districts, et cetera. So there will be some movement for the central district. I'm not quite sure who all of my central district officers are going to be. I do know what my sergeant is going to be, but I'm not sure on the officers yet. Once the officer that's going to be working North Richmond is assigned, I will make sure to bring him or her back with me to the next meeting in August. That is my report. Does anyone have any questions? Or what, I'm sorry, that was closed-ended. Yeah, I did the other. What questions do you have?
I had a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we had turned it off for a while we worked out some issues because there was some misleading information provided to us by the company that manufactures them. We got that worked out. So the system is back on now. Been back on for, not all of the cameras are active though. Because once we turn them off, they went dormant. We have to actually service each one of them physically, go in, check them and make sure they're operational. And that's gonna take a while because again, we're short-staffed on personnel to do that. So I would argue to say it's probably about 70 to 75% the system, full system up and running, but we have a good majority of the city covered. With- Yes, ma'am.
One, was there any like community engagement or survey done where the public approved of these things, the cameras data? And two, can we get locations of where all the cameras are and where they're working?
So to answer your first question, yes, and that's why the city council and Chief Simmons decided to shut the system down once Chief Simmons was aware of the loophole in the camera system. And then there was a lot of discussion in the public and at city council meetings regarding the system, turning it back on. Right now, there's current discussion taking place in regards to moving away from the block camera system, but still keeping a camera system, and possibly going with another manufacturer. So, although we may not continue using Flock, I believe that contract expiring in December. By December, we'll have a decision on whether or not we're going to remain with them or if we're going to be moving into an agreement with a different manufacturer to provide that same service. And your second question was location. I believe the location can be, the cameras are online through the City of Richmond website. And if not, next time I'm here, let me know, and I'll get them. As a matter of fact, just you send me an email. And if it's not there, I'll bring them with you, because. Yep. Anyone else?
Can you give us an update on the drones, like the purpose for that and, yeah, just the.
So actually, that was another one of my notes, DFR, drone and first responder. So we do currently have a drone first responder program. Basically what happens is we'll get a call for service. This is, it's like, for instance, hypothetical. We'll get a call for service for, a man with a gun call. That call, is generated through dispatch and it automatically initiates our drone first responder to leave its location and start heading in that direction of where the call for service is taking place. What it does is it provides us with preliminary information in regards to what we're dealing with before officers, and we have to put people on scene. It is extremely beneficial for our officer safety, because the operator can allow incoming officers to know, yes, there's a man with a gun, the person's wearing this, they're in this location, and then we can set up safely and deal with that situation. We also use it for sideshows successfully. We can identify vehicles, take pictures, and get video of license plates, and then on the back end, issue citations and tow cars after the fact, because we have it live on video. We did use it on the 4th of July. That's how we were able to confiscate the majority of the fireworks that we were confiscating, because we would send the drone overhead, take live video. And there were individuals on video live who were shown setting off these fireworks. So if we can identify.
Oh no.
Did the room audio quit?
Yeah, I'm transferring to my phone. Oh, there it is.
On the county's side.
There it is.
And quite frankly, our drone does have a range. We can only fly so far.
Supervisor Joy is off, Tanya's off, he's gonna sit there and control, you're gonna sit there and control.
Yeah.
I think you have to reclaim host maybe on the computer because I'm using my Zoom account. I was using my Zoom account on my phone, and I think that the switch messed it up.
Well, thank you, Tanya, he's gonna be.
Oh, there you go. Thank you, Dante. Perfect.
Dante is gonna be monitoring that, I hope we introduced our, we have into wonderful, but I didn't have to come back, okay? So I think, keep moving, you know, I'm still waiting next time. Okay, so with that, we are now on the agenda, and thank you, council people, for stepping in. So at this point, we're now looking for, Richmond PD, have they spoken?
Oh, me.
Oh, you're Richmond, oh, yeah. Well, I mean, why did I come? Y'all gotta check out, okay, now. May I ask, okay, the presentation, okay? All right, very good. So our first presentation, my last one, so I can read this right, fine. Okay. So our presentation for this evening is the Country Club Fire Protection District.
No, we're on the, planning permit.
Number 5.
Number 5.
What's the attachment? Okay.
Yeah, we do have a presenter. We do have someone in the Zoom that will be representing that line item. We when that planning permit, we did go over it last time, but there was no one at the meeting to represent the company, so we asked someone to come to this meeting, and so they're joining through Zoom.
Hi, yes, I can chime in here. Yeah, I'm Angela Kwok, one of the representatives, kind of, yeah, to address the permit CDDP 26-03013. So can definitely answer any questions as well as provide, yeah, more context on that permit application. And then we have 2 other folks representing that as well. Nate, I can let you introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having us. Yeah, Nate Beckett. I'm the COO of Planted Solar.
Now, are you gonna do the presentation? I'm gonna just introduce himself. Who's gonna be actually doing the presentation? Thank you for introducing yourself. Oh.
Sorry, it's a little hard to hear the audio from the room.
The permit presentation?
I think they're asking for a presentation.
Yeah, who is going to be presenting your presentation?
Yeah, I can share some background about our permit application and then I guess yeah, open it up for any specific questions there were. We have been working kind of through the comment letter that we received back in response to the application. Let me
Excuse me for one moment. Do you have a PowerPoint so not only the ones here and present and on Zoom can actually see? Do you have a PowerPoint?
Not specifically a PowerPoint, kind of I have the information about the site plans associated with the permit application.
When you do presentations of that magnitude, we usually have a PowerPoint for our audience to see and follow, and also on Zoom. So were you prepared to have that, or you don't have it, or?
No, yeah, we were asked to have a representative here to answer questions. Yeah, I didn't know if there was any specific ask beyond that.
So if truly, we don't want to, shorten you on your presentation, but to be fair for everyone else, I feel that it should be a a PowerPoint of some type when you come to the MAC. I'm not, I'm not shorting you, but if you're not ready, you can always come to next month. I don't know how reasons this has to be done right now, but in due respect for the board and for our audience and the ones on Zoom, it would preferably be to have a presentation of a PowerPoint so people can follow.
Okay, yeah, Angela, do you want to show maybe quickly? We can just show you what we do have, and if that, because again, I think what we're asking to do is pretty simple. So, and maybe, but if this is not suitable, then yeah, we can, I guess, make a PowerPoint and come back another time. Yeah, we were not aware of that. But yeah, Angela,
Can you see my screen?
I see that it's trying to share your screen, but it just looks black.
Okay. Let me try. Apologies.
It's just that we have new members here and we have an audience here, and it's just more respectful to have these in place for that day. Did they present last one? No. So, to keep on schedule, and if you do have a PowerPoint, you can always reschedule, and bring you back to next month. No, we got it. When they come back,
Nate, it looks like I'll have to rejoin real quick to share. Give me 1 sec.
Well, see, that's like we have the right person to do whatever needed, That's the thing, we don't want to shortcut. We have these meetings, we want to be accurate with the information. We want to get it down about that. Okay? Yes. Right, but I think it should be on the audience who can't start, can't do that. No, you have to be, they got people psyched. I'm tired of people doing mediocre stuff, and we go along with it. I'm going along with it. I've been running all day. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, just to double check, is she rejoining to screen share?
So
Yeah, that's what she said. Yeah.
So due to not having all the information for our audience and for the diocese and for Zoom, it would be preferably if you could bring that information back to us next month. Would be agreeable right now, as far as the board has agreed on for us to give you the opportunity to come back next month with the presentation at hand, and then we will be able to be more objective of asking questions, if there's questions there, or if anybody on Zoom needs to ask questions, we give them the opportunity to do that.
Okay, yeah, sorry, we were, yeah, that's very unfortunate. We were not given any information to prepare properly. But I guess that's the option. So that's what we'll do.
Okay, so we will
Yeah.
back on the agenda next month, with the presentation to be seen by the audience here in person and on Zoom, and also the diocese.
Okay. Yeah, and I guess we're trying to use an empty lot to just do some very basic testing. So I guess I'm a little bit wondering if we're kind of in the right, but yeah, Angela, sounds like they want us to come back with a PowerPoint next month. So
Okay. Yep, we can do that.
Yep. Okay.
Well, thank you so very much, and we'll see you next month. No, we want this. We have the cardboard. Are we gonna go? I know that's one of the different. Okay, so thank you all for the kind of moving things around at this point. We just want to be fair for everyone to get the information. Okay, so with that, now I'm going to item 6. Did I count correctly? Okay. Country Coastal Fire Protection District presentation. Okay, you're on. Can you hear?
Hello, Chair Annie King Meredith, council members and members of the public. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Wonderful. Before I get started on the slide presentation, I'd like to provide you with some very quick updates since we have an ever-changing situation here in our county to address fuels reduction, mitigation efforts, and community outreach and engagement. So first, the Community Warning System, or CWS survey, was recently sent to mitigation partners. So far, we've received 700 responses. The Community Warning System is Contra Costa County's official emergency alert system. CWS alerts may be issued at the request of county officials, such as law enforcement, fire agencies, and or the county health officer to warn people in affected areas that they are or may soon be in danger and should take immediate protective action. That is for the protection of life and or health. To sign up for CWS, please visit cwsalerts.com. For access, I will place that link into the chat for the community members online and for the Supervisor Joya's staff to have it on file and reference for you all. I mentioned the CWS survey. That survey is available in English and in Spanish. Again, I will place those links into the chat for those interested in completing the survey. This public survey is pushed out to residents to better understand how you connect and receive emergency alerts and warnings. The feedback will be used to improve the platform for a disaster we hope never comes. Secondly, within Contra Costa County Fire Protection District and all county partners, we have updated the wildfire mitigation project map. I'll be covering a little bit of it in my presentation, but I will again place the link into the chat so you can have accuracy and transparency of all mitigation projects, not only supported by the Measure X wildfire mitigation program, but also those with our partners, East Bay Regional Parks, East Bay MUD, and soon to be Caltrans, Public Works, and PG&E. So why do we map these projects? Mapping all of the fuel breaks as late as last year and uploading the data into Landfire really uses the GIS tracking platform to be shared with cities, fire safe councils, government agencies, and also insurers. So hopefully that will have an impact. Showing our work on the statewide stage will have an impact on insurance impacts for residents. Next is the application for the Fire Risk Reduction Community List. Our Fire Risk Reduction Community List was submitted to the Board of Forestry for all jurisdictions within Contra Costa County. I'm happy to report that each one of our submissions was accepted. It was effective as of July 1st of this year and will remain in effect for the next 2 years. This,
Excuse me just for one moment.
yes, ma'am.
Point isn't moving.
Yes, I'm sorry. I just have some quick updates before I dig into the PowerPoint.
All right, thank you.
I'm so sorry. So the fire risk reduction community list is important because the recognition is included in the California Department of Insurance Safer from Wildfires regulation. It requires a mandatory insurance discount, and insurers must take it into account and reflect it in their rating plans. Residents may request a copy of the list for reporting to their insurance company, and I'm happy to support those requests. With that, we'll jump into the PowerPoint. Thank you so much for your patience. Our goal tonight is to connect the fire service, the county, and the community. As you may know, when community engagement is high, we can build awareness and potentially save lives and protect property. And the slide deck is moving now?
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. So a review of my portion of today's agenda is on the screen now. My goal is to bring you current information that you can refer back to as needed. As always, please reach out to me directly with questions. If I do not immediately have an answer, I will work to provide you either with an answer or a resource. Many moving parts of a particular subject may require monitoring of legislation or development over time. I remain committed to that process. This is our funding acknowledgement. I, as the county coordinator role here in the county, it's made possible by a pass-through grant from CAL FIRE to the California Fire Safe Council, where Contra Costa County Fire Protection District applied and was awarded based on its need. Our program is meant to leverage existing partnerships between residents, government, and fire departments. As a reminder, I move between every jurisdiction in the county. I'm available to every city and county department, and I work with the community to build FireWise in every area of our county. Strong connections with statewide resources can help facilitate local initiatives. And highlighting our local success provides a pathway for other county coordinators throughout the state to build pathways to their own success. And the same works in the opposite direction. You, the residents, are often a spark for larger change. If I haven't had the opportunity to thank each of you personally, thank you for the opportunity for our connection tonight, and I look forward to our connection in the future. In the interest of time, I won't play the video for you, but I will place this into the resource follow-up that I'll send over at the end of the presentation to Dante for distribution. This gives you the background of the county coordinator role, how it started, and what the future looks like. When you view this video, you may see some familiar faces and backgrounds in the video. This is one example of how our work locally is being seen on the statewide stage. Another example is our Contra Costa Wildfire Mitigation Program. Noting one success for us is the National Wildfire Mitigation Awards. The district was recognized by the National Fire Protection Association, also known as the NFPA, with an honorable mention on the nationwide scale for its work on completing 103 fuel mitigation projects and for its use of the virtual dashboard to show the areas impacted. These projects are all primarily funded by Measure X and demonstrate the district's commitment to supporting wildfire mitigation projects throughout Contra Costa County. More information about the awards, again, will be placed in the chat and provided to Dante at the conclusion of my presentation. A little bit of update about my role. The Contra Costa County Fire Protection District successfully applied to receive the County Coordinator Program funding extension, which will be in effect for the next 15.5 months at a cost of $151,500. That is a grant-funded income to the county to support this role, and it will keep the work going through October 15th of 2027. All short-term goals outlined here today really feed a larger initiative. Similar to the engagement during last year's local hazard mitigation plan engagement, county fire agencies are working to secure funding to update our county-wide Community Wildfire Protection Plan, also known as the CWPP. This will take a commitment of time and staff to the process, including community meetings with stakeholders such as yourselves and partner agencies and Firewise communities. The minimum requirements for a CWPP, as described in the Healthy Forest Restoration Act, also known as HEFRA, adopted in 2003, include collaboration, prioritizing fuel reduction projects, treatment of structure ignitability, addressing the wildland-urban interface, and prioritizing those fuel reduction projects. But at the core of it, it's really about community. It's the first word in the title. This is about collaboration with stakeholders receiving feedback. Similar to the CWS survey, this will have surveys attached to it. There will be in-person presentations by myself and other badge members throughout the services to encourage your feedback, all preparing for that wildfire that we hope never comes. All three phases of a wildfire disaster will be addressed in the Contra Costa County CWPP. First, preparedness. Second, response. Finally, recovery. The Contra Costa County Fire Protection District gained board approval by the Board of Supervisors to lead the update of the county-wide CWPP. This will be fire-led and is again funding dependent. The goal is to engage with all stakeholders throughout the process. Community meetings will be a significant part of the process, and I will reach out when more tools are available. Soon we will have county-wide defensible space, home hardening, and other videos, which will be created to assist all fire jurisdictions with messaging. The county coordinator program funding will be used to create these educational videos. Please follow us on social media, and when you see them, please share them. In addition, fuels reduction is being addressed on a regional stage. The Diablo Fire Safe Council is spearheading an update to the 2022 Regional Priority Plan, also known as the RPP. This serves both Alameda and Contra Costa counties, since fire knows no boundary. This work is funded by the California State Coastal Conservancy. They've completed an update of the Alameda County CWPP and are working on that regional priority plan to bring both counties together under that priority. To hear more about the Diablo Fire Safe Council and the RPP projects, please visit them at diablofiresafe.org. Once the Contra Costa CWPP funding is secured, again, support tools will be made available to you and your teams. And I look forward to this essential process, which is aimed at building partnerships ahead of a disaster, improving coordination, and aiding in wildfire disaster recovery. A quick review of the second program that I'd like to cover today is, again, the Contra Costa Wildfire Mitigation Program. ConFire is managing this innovative program funded by Measure X dollars, offering all Contra Costa County residents the opportunity to identify and apply for projects that will reduce our overall exposure to wildfire risk countywide. Accessing the mitigation program is available through the QR code here. I will also place the link into the chat and follow-up email to Dante. An important note, this is not a grant program, rather an assistance program when a community is already working together. One example is an established Firewise community with a leader or a spokesperson that can enter a project into the program portal and serve as a partner throughout the project. We utilize contractors to complete the work, so no need to search out a licensed, bonded, and insured contractor to complete the work within your community. We ask that residents do identify the need for partnerships and permits to get the project ready. We also ask that the community is working together. If you need assistance to launch that community collaboration, please let me know. I'm happy to support. Working with a person within the community is often less intimidating to a resident who may need additional help. So I, as your county coordinator, am available to a resident who needs that additional support. As we move through the rest of the presentation, you'll notice that this program is resident-driven. When a planning project is proposed by a city, an entry into the same mitigation request portal is encouraged. Planning projects, such as the installation of an evacuation route, should be addressed at the city level of government first. Let's dive into funding. The mitigation program is funded through Measure X dollars, supporting projects and initiatives designed to reduce hazardous fuels, improve evacuation routes, and strengthen community preparedness. Measure X funds are for general purpose. The thing that I can say about Measure X is it's a half-cent sales tax over the next 20 years on taxable purchases. So most groceries are exempt from sales tax. Prescription drugs and certain medical devices are also exempt. Many projects address multiple areas that need to be identified by the community. You can learn more about the various Measure X priorities by clicking on the interactive dashboard that, again, I'll place that link into the chat, and look at an individual project through the Project Explorer on the website. Here you'll see the program types or project types that you can identify as a resident for fuels reduction. Community chipping days, where 10, 8 if you're Firewise, residents would cut, gather, and pile vegetation from around your homes, placing that vegetation into 1 or 2 common areas. And our Confire Crew 12 will come and chip that vegetation and haul it away, thereby reducing the fire risk for the entire community. Next is evacuation route cleanups, strategic plans to support Firewise, home hardening outreach program. There's a little update on this program that I'll get to in just a moment. The low income exterior hazard control program. This program assists low income property owners with the exterior hazard removal of dead vegetation and combustible debris. It provides up to $1,500 for hazardous control work. So for an example, for a family of 2, the income limit for this program is $100,050 per year. Proof of income is required, and we ask that you redact your Social Security number from any documents, as it is not needed to determine eligibility. Finally, you'll see dead tree removal, shaded fuel breaks, vegetation management, and fuel reduction. This is just a reminder to get involved. Wildfire prevention is a shared responsibility. By participating in these Measure X funded programs, residents, neighborhoods, and communities can take proactive steps to reduce wildfire hazards, protect lives and property, and enhance countywide resilience. Let me quickly address some misinformation about the fire hazard severity zones. For many years, insurance companies have been using wildfire risk models to determine where they will write and renew policies and how much premium they will charge a policyholder, not the fire hazard severity zone maps. CAL FIRE maps are required by law, and their purpose is to drive local planning decisions, not insurance decisions. I'll provide you with a source of my statement and how I am making that. That is done through the Insurance Commissioner's Office in a recent news release. You can view the fire hazard severity zone maps on our department's website. The district actions are in response to the California Government Code 51178, which requires the Office of a State Fire Marshal to identify moderate, high, and very high fire hazard severity zones based on standardized, science-driven models. Additionally, California Government Code 51179 mandates the State Fire Marshal to provide recommendations for local adoption in these designations. Per California Government Code Section 51179, a local agency may not decrease the level of fire hazard severity zones as identified by the fire marshal. This ensures that fire hazard designations remain consistent with CAL FIRE's scientifically determined hazard assessments. The districts have adopted maps consistent with those recommendations by the State Fire Marshal's Office. CAL FIRE's scientists and wildfire mitigation experts developed the fire hazard severity zone maps using science-based, field-tested models that assign a hazard score based on factors that influence fire likelihood and fire behavior. Many factors are considered, such as fire history, natural vegetation, terrain, predicted flame lengths, ember travel, and typical fire weather patterns for the area. You should notice the alignment in the science between the State Fire Marshal's maps and the criteria considered when entering and evaluating a project within the Contra Costa Wildfire Mitigation Program. And again, just a reminder, I, as the county coordinator, do not review projects. I do not provide approval or denials. So here's an example of that mapping project. And I'm sorry, at the time it was a future matching project. It has now gone live. But distributing the information about the Wildfire Mitigation Program, again, meeting with communities and wildfire groups such as yours, will help us saturate our tracking maps and decrease the overall fire risk to our communities. This work also supports the statewide effort to identify the work and bring leverage access to the insurance coverage crisis. This project enables increased transparency and the ability to view projects throughout the county, not only those within the wildfire mitigation program, but those completed by our partners. Our GIS team is currently connecting with Caltrans, Public Works, and others, including PG&E, to have their projects represented on our maps. When you see the public announcements or updates, again, please share them. While evacuations are managed by our law enforcement partners, we do encourage residents to sign up for the Community Warning System notifications. By locating your evacuation zone, subscribing to Genesis Protect, and signing up for Community Warning System, you can protect your home with defensible space prior to an emergency that you need to take steps to prepare and potentially evacuate. Evacuation zones are created using factors such as weather, traffic flows, street design, historical disaster data, geography, and more. The zones allow first responders to manage evacuation in the most effective way during an emergency. First responders use this platform to guide decision-making around if, when, and where to order evacuations or evacuation warnings. Residents in affected zones are alerted using a variety of means, including CWS, Nixle, social media, Twitter, Facebook, and old-fashioned door-to-door warnings. So what do residents need to do? Visit that link, cwsalerts.com, register for CWS, register for that community warning system. That is your connection to your Office of Emergency Service. Knowing your zone, when zones for evacuation are called, knowing your number is essential. You can monitor up to 5 zones. It's very important to monitor your location that you are evacuating to ensure you have a safe place to go. So I've reviewed your Know Your Zone campaign, how residents can sign up for CWS alerts. Finally, that connective piece to the puzzle. Residents need to understand the concept of defensible space. By accessing the QR codes on your screen now and handing out, again, when I'm there in person, I'll hand out postcards during my in-person updates to residents. You can complete these 3 simple steps to increase awareness as a first-line effort to stay informed. This is a short-term win for each and every household, but it really doesn't stop there. I also stress the importance of working with your neighbors, utilizing the Contra Costa Wildfire Mitigation Program to reduce vegetation around your homes and communities, making it safer not only for you, your residents, your community, but also for responding crews in the event of a wildfire disaster. Finally, our goal, again, is to connect fire service and the county with those residents who need us most. When community engagement is high, we can build community awareness by educating the community on emergency preparedness, defensible space, and home hardening concepts. Finally, in closing, this photo was taken late 2025 at a meeting of all county coordinators where we heard from State Fire Marshal Berlant, Dr. Michael Goldner of UC Berkeley, and others about statewide initiatives and best practices to integrate at the local level. This informative workshop continues to impact my role and the county to this day. Thank you once again for allowing me to present to you, and I look forward to working with each of you in the future and in person. With that, I am ready for your questions.
Thank you so very much, Kelly, for that presentation, and we will start off with seeing if we have anyone on Zoom that has a question. If they have a question, keep it down, for at least 3 minutes, and then we'll go around back and start. But is there anyone online? Seeing no hands?
Nothing.
Okay, how about the audience? Have any audience? And I do want to thank our Vice President from West County Wastewater that's in the audience here today. I don't know if we introduced him earlier, but he's also here on behalf of Wastewater, West County. Okay, well, starting with you, madam.
Okay, no questions, but just, bring up, this program is a free program for all of our participants and residents to register for emergency communication. I know Jonathan has to leave, we have a verification, but, This will be a free program, it'll continue on, do you know how long it will go on for?
I'm sorry, Dante, you're closer to the microphone, I can't hear.
No worries. I typed in the chat, and she asked, is this a free program for all residents? And then how long is the program?
Oh, yes. So the registration for CWS is free. Knowing your zone, free. The wildfire mitigation program, no cost. The funding for the wildfire mitigation program comes by Measure X. So residents are already paying into this program, and this is utilizing your taxpayer funds. I'd like to just address, I know that being there in person is important. When work is being done for outreach through the grant, we're able to reimburse through the grant. When my work is done through Measure X, I use those Measure X funds as efficiently as possible. And the reason I am here virtually is to limit the impact on the taxpayer. I'm sure you'd much rather have me talk for 20 minutes, 25 minutes or so than sit for an hour and 25 minutes in traffic to get to you. And so I'm looking to use that money effectively to keep as much money as possible available for fuels reduction and increasing safety for the community. And the duration of the program, the Measure X funds are available. They were approved in 2020, which is a 20-year half-cent sales tax, so at least through 2040. Thank you very much for your question.
Thank you. I don't have much. Andrea? No. Okay.
Yes, I want to know, the county coordinated program participants, are any of the North Richmond, and what specifically has already been done? Because I heard about it, county, across the county, but it's only North Richmond, so people, play a lot in North Richmond.
Thank you. Yes, I saw your message, Dante. So I am the county coordinator for the entire Contra Costa County. North Richmond, I previously made a presentation, and I am available to come back on a monthly basis. I can be here on any topic that you'd like to present. But yes, I cover the entire county. I work with each fire jurisdiction, each county department. I'm available to all residents within Contra Costa County.
So my question is, so I see the picture of the county coordinated program participants. Anyone from North Richmond?
So based on the picture that you shared, that last slide, Latifa was asking if anyone within that group or cohort is representing North Richmond.
I am.
So I think so she's one of the many county coordinators, and she's representing, representing.
Yes. Okay. So these are county coordinators, and there's one in almost every county throughout the state to address wildfire risk reduction.
Okay.
So yes, I represent you on the statewide stage.
So every person there represents a different county throughout the state.
Yes, sir.
And then there was a second question she had about for the program currently, what has been like historically done for North Richmond? Has there been any efforts other than you presenting on this information today? I think they're curious about.
And you're talking about what has historically been done for fuels reduction in North Richmond?
I think anything related to this program, right?
Yes, so we can absolutely, Dante, you and I can work to get an absolute count of the projects that have taken in and around North Richmond for fuels reduction. But again, I'm reaching out to you to find out what your priorities are and how we can partner in the future to bring the needed information to the community. Tell me what you need. If you want to hear from PG&E, if you want to hear from California Department of Insurance, if you want to hear on a certain topic, I'm here to support the North Richmond community as I am all residents within Contra Costa County.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jack, on her, I'm gonna let the other council, asked their questions before I piggyback on what Council, Latifa just asked.
My question would be, so it seems like roughly about $4 million is going into this program. Y'all are hiring folks and everything. How long is this program gonna be in effect? Is this just a 2-year program or a 3-year program?
I've pulled up again the total Measure X funding for the wildfire mitigation program. About half of that goes to Crew 12. Does everybody know what Crew 12 is? Okay, Crew 12 is our hand crew. When you hear on the news after a fire, crews remain on scene putting out hotspots. That's our hand crew. So they mop up, they go for response, for fire response. About half of that funding goes to Crew 12 to directly support the fire captains, the control specialists, the control workers, their equipment, their buggies, and their training. And then the wildfire mitigation program, the fuels reduction program, our contractors, CEQA, the Environmental Quality Act, green waste bins, fire trail signs, folding maps for mutual aid crews coming in that may not work on the same electronic platform that we do, the printed material for the program, and then the county coordinator and clerical staff when grant funds, in between grant fund cycles, or areas that the grant funds do not cover.
Question. So I want to know, are you going to hire people within the community or is this like outside people or whoever applies or just like kind of help people in the community who wants to do the training for that? Like, you guys do that type of things too?
So a typical engagement with the program and Firewise is volunteer. It's you working with your community to identify priorities for fuels reduction, education, training, and other information that you need to become more fire adapted. Fire adapted communities are not are not funded. If you are looking for a position within the fire department, I'm happy to connect you with the recruitment staff. But I, as the county coordinator, again, am a non-badged grant-funded position to increase community engagement, to prepare the community for the Community Wildfire Protection Plan and all aspects of fuels reduction. So there's not a hiring position. I serve as your county coordinator. I connect the community with fire agencies. I serve as kind of that wheel of resource. And if you came to me and said, I want to hear more about what PG&E is doing to reduce fuels beyond this Measure X program, then I would contact PG&E, pull them in, and have them speak with either the MAC board or a Firewise community and get information to you all. It's really about outreach and community engagement. We want to have equitable access for the mitigation program throughout the county, but we also want to engage people on something that's really, it's not an attractive topic, right? It inspires fear, and you can have someone who gets a little bit of information and rejects the rest, but making people aware of what their fire risk is and the steps that you can do to prepare yourselves. So if that wildfire comes, you at least have a plan, right? And maybe a plan B. And if that doesn't work, move to plan C. But really preparing you for emergency preparedness, evacuation, really working with our law enforcement partners. I'm happy to work with Richmond Police Department. The fire department is in constant contact as a partner for wildfire preparedness, but really looking at if there's more information that a community wants to hear about when it comes to evacuation, we can partner on that. If you're concerned about inspections, we can partner and work with the fire marshal to get you more information on that. It's really about what the community needs. You tell me what you need, and I'll work to get it.
Okay. So Michelle, my question, I had a couple of comments and a couple of questions. The first comment is thank you for the update and the thorough presentation that you just presented to us this evening.
Yes, Chair.
And the other is the program overview. You just touched upon a few questions I had. One is the community clipping day that is actually shown on page 49. And it speaks of clipping crews are provided to clip vegetation in fire-wise communities or neighborhoods with at least 10 homes participating in the fuel reduction. Now, with Contra Costa, West Contra Costa, and I'm speaking of looking at our topograph, the way it's laid out, we're not in a really forestry environment. We're like land spread it out. So we're looking at more or less where it's a lot of vegetation, a lot of trees. And to have this printed, there has to be at least 10 homes participating. Well, the way we're spread it out, how would that, how would that more or less affect us if we have overgrown grasses that can also be united, by.
Sure. Yes. So the weed abatement is separate from this program. So if there's weeds on a private property, the private property owner is responsible for maintaining, vegetation. But where the community can come together is really reducing the vegetation within the first 5 feet of the residential structure. And again, a community chipping day is where 10 participating homes would help those residents who need help dispose of branches, brush, and vegetation to reduce that fuel buildup that occurs around the structure. There's three types of fires. There's vegetation to vegetation. So your grass, your light flashy fuels, right? Fast moving, smoky fires. Then there's vegetation to structure. That's where the vegetation catches fire and approaches that 5 foot of space, either through ember cast or direct flame. And then there's structure to structure where the homes become the fuel. That's where we're really looking to prepare the community to create that defensible space, home hardening through like gutters, vents, roofs, windows, and preparing that structure for fire. So you become more fire adapted. The 10 participants is just enough vegetation that allows the crews to come out and really make it a meaningful morning to chip, and haul away that vegetation. If you're fire-wise, we reduce that requirement by 2, so 8 participants for a Firewise in good standing are asked to cut, gather, and pile that vegetation from around their homes. The reason that there's 1 to 2 piles is just efficiency. It's to keep the crews moving because each time they have to set up and take down that chipper. So again, and their first responsibility is suppression. So protection of life and property. So if let's say you're scheduled for next Saturday and God forbid the fire breaks out and it's Saturday morning, they're not going to come chip that vegetation. They're going to go put the fire out, and when they're done, then they can come back and chip. Right? 10 participants. Again, we find that that's a good round number to engage the community. I'd like to say something that just for the reason for 10. I realize that North Richmond is unique in the parcel size, but I would also say that we've had a rural community with large parcels have one of our largest chipping days where they gathered fuels and branches, and it actually took our crew 2 separate trips to chip that vegetation. So it's meaningful in fuels reduction, and I know that it can be done. We have 10% of the Firewise count in the state here in our county. With only, our county's 3% of the state population, but we have 10% of the Firewise count, which is really speaks to that community engagement. And again, I just look to put North Richmond on the map through Firewise recognition, which will help people with their insurance premiums. The fire risk reduction community list, that acknowledgement, the safer from wildfires, just really getting the information out to the community. And so this is just kind of dipping your toe in, get your feet wet about the things that we see your community may need and to gauge what your priorities are. And I'm happy to meet those goals with you.
Okay, and then the other one, I guess this will be the last question, so we can, move on. The other one, and you tapped upon, you know, you actually touched upon it, and it's still about vegetation and the management and the fuel reduction. We have partials, and not just only partials, and as individuals that do not really keep up, you know, with their yards, but if they have an ordinance, you know, the county will come out, they'll help them out, you know, they'll cut it, and then they'll put a lien on the property, you know, if it hasn't been really taken care of, right? But
yes,
to say that, as far as looking at the, you know, looking at the combustions of different grasses that are ongoing, not public, you know, not public, well, let me take it back, private lots that is not really being taken care of, but looking at the whole of individuals of other entities that own the properties on large scale. And those properties haven't been really taken care of, but they have a threat for being, you know, starting a fire. Where do we come in, or where do you all come in about taking care of that problem?
absolutely. I hear you, and I want you to know that we have an established complaint form. Reporting residents can remain anonymous. It is available on our website. And you would just submit a weed or overgrown vegetation complaint form, and an inspector will go out and review that lot.
Okay. So with that, and I just want to make sure we have one more question, and then I'm going to turn it over to our council person, Andrea. Oh God, just went out the window with my thought.
It's been a long day.
Well, I'm curious, how do we reach you, and how do we coordinate a community meeting to come out and talk about and educate the residents around fire safety, what they can do in their homes, what they can do in their yards to make their space more protected from fires?
I look forward to the opportunity to engage with every neighborhood within the North Richmond community. My contact information is on the screen for you now. Dante also has this information, and I am happy to connect following this meeting.
Okay. I'm gonna go back to what you were saying. Right, and then I'm gonna put Dr. Darrell on the spot.
Okay, mine real fast. Can you go back to the one when you report the weeds? How fast does that turn around for somebody to come out and check it out? That's my question.
I can check on what that turnaround time is. I know that it's relatively quickly, I mean, depending on the workload, but I can check on that and get back to you, Dante. Just remind me that I need a turnaround time for you all.
Thank you. So, don't do that. I know that, and with, Andrea, just mentioned, about how we, you know, how do we more or less, have more or less a meeting, you know, a meeting place in order to have this information to be distributed throughout, not just North Richmond, but our West County area. You know, we're connected. And
sure.
As I said, Dr. Darrell, he's our director over at CHDC for our community engagement. And I think that he would be probably the one to more or less, if you connect with him, for us to utilize this, because this is his stance here to more or less have, you know, of course, to have some type of meeting or some type of town hall or whatever. And I don't want to just push that on you, but he is he is our community outreach engagement that really had, the connections to do this and to actually make those connections for, our connecting cities here in North Richmond, and we are the unincorporated area, here. We have the city side of North Richmond and the incorporated, which we are the incorporated area. So
Thank you, Chair Meredith.
I'll get your information over from here and I'll contact you tomorrow to see how we can.
Dr. Darrell, I look forward to your call.
Okay. And thank you again, we enjoyed that, that presentation. So we're gonna move on. We only have 45 more minutes to before we turn out, okay? So again, thank you, Sheila. We will be keeping in contact with you, Dr. Will, he's our contact.
Thank you so much, Chair Meredith. Thank you, council members. Thank you, residents, for taking the time to engage. I appreciate you and I look forward to our work in the future.
Thank you. Okay, with that, we're gonna keep moving, okay? So our next item here is, attached is the, North Richmond MAC presentation. Is that true?
No, isn't that?
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, that's what we did that. That was the, okay.
So, yeah, the AC Transit representative had a conflict and he's gonna be scheduling with Tanya for next month.
Okay, so that's moved, so that has been moved for next month.
Yep.
Okay, and, also, upon discussion, just as a reminder, August, the first Tuesday in August is usually our, National Night Out. Okay, so in the past, I think, we talked with, Tanya, either not to just totally remove it from the month, but pass it into the next following week. So with that, that'll be a fun discussion and something I think is taken back, I'm pretty sure she listened to that in order for us to, if it's really something that needs to be discussed, to continue to have our meeting for August, or if not, we'll move it into September. Okay, so just a heads up on you all. A lot of people will like, oh, that's not the night out. Okay, so it's that. All right, so with that, AC Transit.
No, they're not here.
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay, so how about, we're to number 7. Okay, for our updates, so our first one is COR, and who is COR?
Richmond? Yeah, I can do it real quick.
Well, we got time, if we we got about 8, so if everybody keep it down like 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah. I don't have much to report. I'm Jessica Walden. I'm with the North Richmond Mobile Tool Library. For those new council members, hi, that I haven't met. And we come out to Fred Jackson Way on the first and third Saturday of every month and loan tools to people that become members. You can borrow tools for free. So we have one site in North Richmond, across from the North Richmond Missionary Baptist Church. And then we're gonna have a second location over at Fire Station 63, which is on Valley View and Amend. So we'll have a second location there, probably at the end of the summer. But I mainly just wanted to let you guys know that, and most of you, I'm sure, already know that there's going to be a ribbon cutting ceremony at the new Shields Reed. And I have a whole bunch of flyers. If you want to take any back to your offices, or Latifa, if you want to take any back to Urban Tilth, I'll just leave them here. Help yourself. The ribbon cutting ceremony is just going to be from 11 to 12 this Saturday. And then the 15th annual music festival will kick off then at noon. So that's what these are. And the other thing I wanted to announce is the Richmond Tool Library turns 10 in 2026. So they've been around for 10 years, which is a long time. And they're going to be having a 10-year anniversary party on Saturday, July 25th. So there'll be games, food, projects, just all kinds of stuff over at the Recreation Center, which is right next to Nickel Park. So, so this is just a little, postcard about the 10-year tool library anniversary. And I'll just leave these here in case. Yeah, sure, yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I just wanted to share those, you know, upcoming events with you guys to let you kind of know what's happening. And these are just some more of the Shields Read English, Spanish, the groundbreaking. Does anybody have any questions for me about the tool library or anything else?
I mean, it's just a suggestion. I mean, it's very nice to have the tool library, but I was wondering, you know, in Berkeley, they have the tools and they have like kitchen things that you can borrow. I know that you have your dance tools with the tools, but maybe it would be like a good idea to add some things for kitchen or something, like for the kitchen.
You know, we're definitely, our infrastructure and the platform that we keep our inventory in is super scalable. So we could actually, you know, loan out bicycles, we could loan out culinary equipment. But right now, our space is very small. So we would have to get into a bigger space in order to have more stuff. But you're not the first person that's, you know, reminded us about what Berkeley does. You know, they loan out all kinds of kitchen stuff. So I could see that a little bit further down the line. Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you two get it together, you know, if it's more information that you need. So, yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you for your presentation. Okay, next, we have, Country House, the Housing Authority. Do we have Tony on? Deputy?
No, but B is here. Tony is actually on a cruise right now, so I did check in with him to get some notes to share back with y'all. I hope everyone's doing well this evening. The just main points to share are that related to Los Deltas and the market rate sales, we are expecting to close on the 9th property in that process by the 15th, and continuing to work through the other ones. That leaves us with 9 and still accepting offers. Don't have a viable offer yet on the empty lot that's going for $240,000. So still accepting offers on that. And if anyone would like to place an offer, and I can get you Sydney's number in just a second, but the other piece to share is just related to the main campus and an exclusive negotiating agreement has been reached between the Housing Authority and CHDC. So that's good news, and we just now need to have it approved by HUD so that everything can be in place there and move on to the next stage. And I'm gonna put Sydney's phone number in the chat if folks are interested in making an offer on the empty lot.
Okay. So keep it moving, we have 15 minutes before, when it gets to like 5 minutes, we're gonna have to, if we don't keep it short, we're gonna have to extend it for about 10 more minutes or 15 minutes, but hopefully everybody can short and to the point. Okay, the next one is CHDC. Don isn't here, but I have Dr. Darrow here. If you want to report out.
Yeah, hi everyone, just a couple of things. First of all, thank you to everyone that came out for Community Awareness Day. We started bringing it back. It's something we had done previous years, and then COVID came around, we had to, of course, shut it down. But so the past few years, we've been bringing it back, so we appreciate it. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So thank you for everyone that showed up. Also, just want to also let people know that coming out our community resource centers, we do have a clean slate program that we started. Through funding that we've gotten, we've been able to help ages 14 and up. If you have a record and you haven't done anything in quite some time and you're finding it hard to get jobs and things of that sort, we can get it expunged off of your record. I mean, it's still there, but it's not in a sense. So, because we found out just from our program, a lot of people were like, I can't get an apartment, I can't do this. And we were like, well, why not? They're like, well, I committed a crime back in 1990 something. And I'm like, well, I mean, like, nope. And I was like, well, it's there, let's see what we can do to do that. And one of the best parts is that through the funding we got, we were able to start a summer intern program. And a young man, Million, is our first pilot summer intern. He's been sitting with us, he's looking at getting an education with a degree in engineering. And so, you know, we brought him in, we just bring him in under the grassroots, let him see all the things we're doing and stuff like that. So hopefully that works out well, we'll be able to continue that program going. And he's a great young man. He called him a kid, but he's a great young man, and I think he's gonna help him out when he goes to school. Also, don't forget our mitigation program. We have vouchers for bulky pickups. Check in with Janine, and then if you see any things that are happening in your community with leaf dumping, reach out to Kalu as well. And also the last thing is we have started renting out the senior center for events. And so if you're interested, please make sure that you reach out to myself, and we'll see what we can do to make that happen. Any questions?
Another question. Did you, does CHPC have a program for folks that purchase homes or that need furniture? And then a way for, like, if I have my house and have furniture that I want to donate?
I would suggest reaching out to Katrina Bisno. She does a lot of that, and I'll give you my card and I can direct. She's perfect. She's right across the hallway from me. She's in that our financial wealth department and deals with like helping people once they get out or helping people actually get the loans and things of that sort. Yeah.
Okay, the question was around, was the senior center or the one that's on Bridget?
This one, the senior center, yeah. So just reach out to me and, yeah.
Thank you, okay. Good, okay, thank you. That was right on the point. Okay, Dante, I know I skipped over you. I apologize.
No worries. I don't.
Yeah, I probably got this in class.
No, you're good. I don't think I have any updates unless Tanya, I know you're busy right now and want to jump in and share anything, but at least to my knowledge that what Tanya prepared me for, I don't have any particular updates on stuff unless, recently, the community impact fund grants have been, I don't know if you've seen the announcement. There was a list and then some of the organizations are impacting North Richmond residents. I think Martha Nieto, who was on the Zoom call, mentioned one of her projects that is going to be funded. So, yeah, you can find that on the agendas if you're interested in looking at the North Richmond.
Okay, so would that be listed? Would that be listed on the website to see who was granted?
Yeah. So you can go on to Supervisor Joya's website, and then there's like a list that you can
Of the grantees?
Yeah, of the grants.
Specifically got granted in Margaret?
There were a couple. I can't list off the top of my head, but I can also follow up with the specific list of who's. Yeah. Right. Yes, for sure. I can let me know that, okay?
Richmond Land, Executive Director.
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Kaden Cotton Blake. I'm the Community Engagement Manager for Richmond Land. Just want to give some brief updates about some of the programming that we have going on through the rest of the year, which is some great stuff. So starting off, heard a little bit of homebuyer talk. We'll be in partnership with CHDC, a homebuyer program to have our community learn what it means to move into and to steward a community land trust, which is the model that Richmond Land is in our North Richmond community here. We also have our Buy Back the Jets event. If you did not attend last year, Buy Back the Jets is a kind of campaign effort, but a community event on making sure that these local properties are bought back by the community. So it'll be housing resources, fun, friends, family, food. So please save the date, September 26th. And that'll be at the Fields Reed Park. In addition, we have, a big reminder. So if you're interested in learning more in depth about the work that we're doing as an organization, every third Tuesday at 5:30, we have our orientation. You can sign up for the orientation on our website. There's also, I have some flyers that'll pass around in my bag as well, but that'll take a deeper dive into some of the work that we do and how transformative the community land trust model can be, especially in our community where we're trying to focus on making sure that we retain our homeowners here in community and transform folks who are not currently homeowners and are renters into homeowners in the near future. So those are our big points of programming coming up. And then this weekend, on Saturday, we have our first fundraiser of the year, which is a salon event where we'll be launching our individual giving program. Princess, do you want to talk a little bit more in depth about some of that programming?
Yeah, sure. So this will be our first time hosting a salon event as Richmond MAC, and I'll be hosting and facilitating the event. It'll actually be here Saturday from 2 to 4. We'll start here with our free food by a local chef here from North Richmond. We'll also have a presentation to give you all about all of the things we've been able to accomplish as a new staff and our vision for the future. And then we'll walk down the street to the Eco Village site just to take a short little look at what we plan on, how we plan on transforming those projects, down right there in front of Ready Elementary. So really excited to have y'all. I'll share, this event with Tanya and she'll send out links to where folks can RSVP, but we'll be here Saturday at 2 o'clock. Okay, very good.
So thank you all.
Okay, thank you. Very good. And last but not least, our executive director here. Latifa, if you can report out on urban tilt. Okay.
And say that Doria Robinson is our ED, is our executive director. I'm the community engagement manager for the North Richmond Farm specifically. We'll just share a couple of things that we have coming up. So we are at 323 Brookside Drive. And the shout out Mill, thank you so much for helping. And we were at the community awareness day. He came and gave us a hand along with our community advisory, some of our community advisory members. And a local resident here, Ms. Lorraine, came in to give us a hand. We'll be at the festival, the ribbon cutting and the festival on Saturday. We are hosting interns from Supervisor Joy's office tomorrow at the farm. As I mentioned, on July 15th, we're going to have that repainting, the project repainting the houses with the refinery set. We're going to convene a meeting around that project. We're going to have the Hidden Genius Project at the farm on July 24th. I think I mentioned before, we had a Seed and Feet ministry come from Praise Fellowship Bible Church. They did a tour for our community advisory committee meeting last month. It's a meeting I convene every month. Last month, Doria came and presented on the resiliency center that we're developing at the farm. Let's see. Coming up, we have, let's see, there are going to be some opportunities for tea blending. We we have a Just Transition team, and they do excellent work with making herbal medicine tinctures and steams. And if you'd like to learn about herbal medicine, there are going to be some opportunities coming up where you can come and participate with that. They make these kits, and this area has we have a high we have a lot of asthma cases, and so originally the kits were for to deal with for a respiratory system to deal with fire. But they can be used for a lot of different things. Another thing that's coming up is our education team is going to be resuming senior gardening days here, starting July 13th, for Mondays 12:30 to 1:30. We're going to be having at the farm on first and third Fridays, starting in August, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. We have a new part of the farm called UPIC, and so you're welcome to come and be a part of the UPIC area. The education team is rolling that out. Every fourth Saturday, we have volunteer day, and the last fourth Saturday, we had apricots from the orchard on the farm, and the people that came, they made apricot jams. And this fourth Saturday, so they're usually from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. This, the fourth Saturday for this month, there's going to be a kids activity time, and that time frame is from 10 to 12. So those are some of the things that we have going on. Let's see. One of the things I also wanted to note, if you're part of the CSA program, you can also have flowers that we grow at the farm as part of your, you can add on flowers to your CSA bag. And I don't know if you've ever gotten a bouquet from there, but they do really great work. So consider adding a bouquet to your CSA bag.
Okay, thank you so very much. Okay, so with that, we still have a couple minutes, and I do want to mention, I don't know if anybody mentioned anything of that nature, but Cynthia, do you have anything to report out about the Blues Festival before we close out? We got about 4 minutes.
Yes, Cynthia would like to announce that the Blues Festival and also the ribbon cutting ceremony is this Saturday at Shields and Reed Park. And I'm looking forward to seeing everyone out there. I have 30 vendors that signed up to set tables, so we'll see what happens, and looking forward to seeing everybody. Thank you.
And with that, just over the past month, we've had, and this is on another note, the sad note, over the past couple of months, we had 2 stellar community members who passed away. And the first one, on the 15th of June, was none other than Rose Manor Funeral Home that has been here in operation for over 50 years in our community and serving the Bay Area. Miss Lydia Stewart Warner, she passed away on the 15th of June. And it would be remiss if we did not honor her and close with her in mind and for the family of prayer. The other stellar that passed away just last Wednesday was Mr. Jolie Fisher, and also a very stellar individual for the Bay Area. Here, well known. And I just would like to close that in the memory of those 2 well-known individuals for here in Country Costa County and beyond. So with that, I would like to close this meeting. They have their memory and the meeting. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I started with Jolie when
Yeah. Yeah.